Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, Attorney General Levi Peters is advocating for Dominica's firearm-related laws to be strengthened. In news from the region, $3 million boost for farmers and fishers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump says he will be trying to get back territory for Ukraine in talks with Russia's president. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
Flow's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or larger. Activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial *129# or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
DBS News.
Welcome back. Attorney General Levi Peters is advocating for Dominica's firearm-related laws to be strengthened. His statement came following the funeral service of 32-year-old Jaive Alex Bruno, who was gunned down last month. Mr. Peters says, however, government has been proactive in dealing with firearm-related offenses.
But as you know, the government announced an amnesty recently, and a few firearms were handed in. You also would be aware that the government a few years ago actually repealed the then existing Firearms Act and brought in a new Firearms Act with much more severe penalties. And the government's intention then, as it made clear in Parliament and elsewhere, was that the penalties for possession and use of firearms should be much more stringent. It seems, and I think the government's position, and I'm not speaking with authority on the government's position, but I am considered, I personally support and will seek to persuade that the government needs to look at increasing even further the legislative framework governing firearms, their possession and use, and of course increasing the penalties and ensuring that they're enforced, because I think also one of the things that I said, and I think I said in Parliament, my last contribution, is that the courts need to impose the penalties that are provided for in the legislation with more vigor. People need to understand that possession of firearms is a serious matter, and use of those firearms are even more serious.
Attorney General Levi Peters. The Attorney General says Dominican communities must also join in the efforts to rid the streets of illegal firearms.
But I think alongside that, there needs to be a holistic approach that the community needs to get involved. This is not a government issue, it's not a Labour Party issue or Freedom Party or United Workers Party or whatever party or whatever religion. This is something that affects all of us. As we can see from this particular very tragic event, this is an innocent person who found himself caught up. And this is what could happen to any one of us, or children, or family members. We need as a society to recognize that firearms are a scourge on society, and we need to find a mechanism, and I shall myself be speaking about it, certainly within the government circles and with others, that there needs to be a move that the various elements in society, remove the politics from it, remove religion, but just as members of society, we all want to live in a safe society, and we need to find ways of coming together and going in the various communities, speaking to the people who are involved in this, and finding a way to communicate with them the seriousness and the damage that they are doing to the society and of course to individuals. You see the grief within this particular family, but that is something that obviously radiates and affects all of us, and we need to do more. And it's not just the law is there, it's one element, but I actually believe that the greater element is the societal element, where people in the society, ordinary people, you, me, everybody else, sits down in our communities, in our villages, and gets across to the idea we will not tolerate this danger, this scourge on our society.
Attorney General Levi Peter. Meantime, Pastor Griffin Daniel has issued a call for Dominicans to participate in the one-month gun amnesty program, which will end on August 16th, 2025.
And for those of you listening, far and near, but more so for those of us who live in this country, the government has placed something very important, that those with firearms must bring it in. But some are not doing it. Let me just take this opportunity to ask you, those who know someone or you know yourself, bring it back. When you have something, even if you say you will not use it, sometime or the other, it will just propel you to use it. And the more you can stay away from things that can propel you to do things that are not right, the best thing to do is get rid of it. Amen, Pastor Griffin. And as a result of somebody not obeying, we are here today to put the remains of this young man, putting him to rest. It is something Jive never saw coming.
Pastor Griffin Daniel. In other news, residents in Dominica and the Northern Caribbean are being asked to closely monitor the progress of Tropical Storm Erin, which formed just off the coast of Africa this morning. Erin is the fifth tropical storm of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season and is projected to become the first hurricane of the season later this week. As of 5 p.m. this evening, the center of Tropical Storm Erin was located near latitude 17.4 degrees north and longitude 30.3 degrees west, or about 2,155 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands. Erin is moving toward the west near 21 miles per hour, and this motion is expected to continue for the next several days. Earlier, satellite wind data indicated that maximum sustained winds are near 45 miles per hour with higher gusts. This system is forecast to be near the Lesser Antilles by the weekend. Residents in the Lesser Antilles should continue to closely monitor the progress of this system. The Dominica Public Service Union will meet with its members tomorrow to discuss the ongoing salary negotiations with the government. General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Lita, is hopeful for a positive outcome from the meeting.
To provide an update to the members as to where we are with regard to negotiations. Since our last meeting with our members, we wrote to the government and we met last week. There has been some improvement in some of the things that we were requesting or some of the things that we are negotiating for. So we have seen some improvements in those areas, especially the non-salary issues compared to what they were the last time. So we are hoping to have a discussion with the members and to see exactly what will happen from there. We are hoping that the meeting tomorrow will be a positive one, and that following the meeting that the members will decide. But we look forward, we'll discuss the improvements, we'll go over the entire package with the employees. We'll also speak to whatever other benefits we believe that public officers will gain during the triennium, or this current triennium. We have already started to think of things that will be, when we get to the negotiation table for the next triennium, which is not there yet, that we will come up with some new ideas. But we just have to wait and present to the members tomorrow, God's willing.
General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Lita. HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited says discussions are ongoing with the Dominica Amalgamated Workers Union regarding the collective labor agreement. Recently, General Secretary of the Dominica Amalgamated Workers Union, Leah Shillingford, spoke out regarding the non-payment of back pay and other benefits as outlined in the collective labor agreement. In a press release, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited says it acknowledges the statement that was made and wishes to clarify that the company has maintained a professional yet cordial engagement with the union spanning many decades and have always operated within the confines of the laws of Dominica. The release from HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited continued to say that it considers the issues raised by the union as internal matters and regrets that rather than continued further discuss, the union's general secretary would resort to taking it out to the media. HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited said it remains committed to its obligations in a transparent process and relies on accountability and honesty in the period leading to the conclusion of this matter. The second edition of the Flavors of the World Festival, set for September 28th, was officially launched this morning. This festival serves as a fundraiser in celebration of the 175th anniversary of the Cathedral of Our Lady of Fairhaven. Dominicans are encouraged to participate in the event as all proceeds will benefit the Roseau Cathedral.
Today, we launch a fundraising campaign not simply to complete the works needed to finish the project, but to ensure that this cathedral remains a living testament to our faith, our culture, and our rich history. The funds raised will go towards vital restoration and beautification efforts to ensure that our cathedral continues to inspire our people to worship God for centuries to come. We appeal to all Dominicans, both here and abroad, as well as friends, businesses, and partners, to stand with us in this noble cause. No contribution is too small. Every dollar, every prayer, every effort will help carry this legacy forward. Let us give, not only from our pockets, but also from our hearts, knowing that in doing so, we are writing a new chapter together in the story of Our Lady of Fairhaven Cathedral.
Member of the organizing committee of the Flavors of the World Festival, Val Coffey. Meantime, CEO of Discover Dominica Authority and Director of Tourism, Marva Williams, says the first edition of the festival last year surpassed expectations.
Last September, guests journeyed from China to Haiti, from India to Venezuela, from Lebanon to Africa and back home to Dominica, without ever leaving the stadium grounds. We savored Kalinago cassava creations, danced to the beat of bouillon, compa, and the bele, and we were moved by music from opera to drumming Assam. The stage welcomed everyone, which added their own spice to the pot. The event was cultural diplomacy in action. It was communities connecting, and it had a real economic impact, generating income for farmers, fishermen, craft vendors, restaurants, transport operators, and accommodation providers. Most importantly, proceeds supported the restoration of one of the city's oldest treasures, the Our Lady of Fairhaven Cathedral.
CEO of Discover Dominica Authority and Director of Tourism, Marva Williams. The Flavors of the World Festival is an event in Dominica celebrating global cuisine and culture. It features food, music, and cultural performances from various countries and nationalities, including India, Haiti, China, Cuba, Venezuela, Kalinago, Africa, and Dominican Creole cuisine. The festival will take place on Sunday, September 20th, 2025 from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Windsor Park Stadium. Chief Youth Development Officer Merita Hyacinth says investment into the youth must be given priority. Her comments came as Dominica prepares to join the rest of the world to observe International Youth Day tomorrow.
International Youth Day 2025 will be celebrated worldwide on Tuesday, August 12, under the theme Local Youth Action for the SDGs and Beyond. This theme emphasizes the vital role of young people in transforming global goals into meaningful actions within their communities. And to commemorate this day, the Youth Development Division has organized a week of activities started from Saturday, August 9th to Friday, August 15th, showcasing the creativity, leadership, and contributions of our youth in Dominica. This really comes on the heels of the division's success from a month-long summer day camp program, which was held in 19 camps. We had 19 camps around the country, which engaged over 700 children, and it was supported by more than 100 youth volunteers and over 100 NEP education mentors. And this remarkable achievement is proof of when you invest in your young people and what you can do to invest in your young people, you are building the pillars of the nation's future. And now we are carrying that same spirit of empowerment into a week dedicated to celebrating and elevating our young people.
Chief Youth Development Officer Merita Hyacinth. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
Flow's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or larger. Activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial *129# or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
DBS News.
In news from the region, St. Vincent Agriculture Minister Sabutu Caesar has announced that $3 million has been provided through a grant from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank's Food Security Program to assist the farmers and fishers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mr. Caesar stated that the funds would be invested in purchasing and marketing produce primarily for the extra-regional market. He added that the government intends to reintroduce turkey production in the country, which had been a huge market for St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the early years. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump has said he will try to get some territory back from Ukraine during his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday. Trump told a news conference at the White House that Russia occupied a big portion of Ukraine, which is prime territory. Trump and the Russian president are due to hold talks in Alaska at the end of this week. Trump claimed that he could know within 2 minutes of meeting Putin whether progress was possible. That's news. The DBS Evening Sports Report up next with Gavin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life is pumping. Together going strong. No matter what we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come let your rhythm flow.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's begin with news that the president of the Dominica Olympic Committee, Billy Doctorov, is calling on the various sporting associations to play their part in the support for youth athletes. Well, his comments ahead of Dominica's participation at the 2025 Pan Am Junior Games in Paraguay. Doctorov says that success can only be achieved through adequate preparation.
Well, every step that you make, you have to basically step on the first rung of the ladder. And this is the first rung of the ladder to many of our athletes. And we believe that a gold medal winner does not drop from the sky or come automatically. We believe it's something that has to show progression, preparation has to be key, and we encourage all our affiliates to make more emphasis on preparation, because we believe that with adequate preparation that you can go on to greater things. So we like to start and we like to support our athletes in the early stages of their development, of their careers, because we believe that when they show progression, then they can go on to greater things.
President of the Dominican Olympic Committee, Billy Doctorow, is encouraging the private sector to support the athletes.
I've been saying since Tia won the gold medal, many of our private sector persons have come on board to embrace her and to celebrate with her. And we are happy about that. But we are saying we cannot wait for another gold medal. We have to ensure that the environment is prepared for those persons. That's why we invest heavily in our young athletes. So we're asking our private sector to come on board early to ensure that the environment is prepared and our young athletes have a pathway to further excellence.
The president of the Dominican Olympic Committee, Billy Doctorow. Meantime, national swimmer Jasmine Schofield is hoping to set some new national records as she takes to the pool at the Pan Am Junior Games in Paraguay. The Olympic swimmer is the national record holder in a number of events, and she is set to participate in the 100-meter freestyle event tomorrow. Schofield says her participation at previous events has prepared her well for the Games.
My expectations going into Pan Am Juniors, I definitely want to aim for a new national record in both the 100 and the 50. It might be a bit difficult because that was just achieved a couple months ago. But I mean, I have high hopes for myself. I trust in my training and my coaches. And I think that the Heats here and all the athletes will all be pushing each other. We were pushing each other in the Worlds, and we're going to push each other here again. So hopefully it goes well. I've been working a lot with my coaches. They've been going really hard in the gym. I've gotten a lot of my strength up, but it's just technically applying it to my form and everything, because I want to look good in the water and then feel strong.
National swimmer Jasmine Schofield. Meantime, swimming coach Shamini Walsh-Dupie is hoping that Schofield can better her previous marks.
Preparation in terms of readiness, I think she's pretty ready. She only had 1 day in between the competition or leaving for the competition and getting here. So I think that in itself was a bit of preparation for her. But today, we missed the training day yesterday because of travel. But today we're going to make the most of her training. She really needs to work on her catch, and her reach, and really pull in that water. So she's going to be doing some drills today to focus on that. We're looking to see at least, an improved time. She didn't do as well as the World Championships in terms of her personal best. She was 1 second slower in both her races, so we're hoping we can get a better time for this race. We're really hoping at least she can improve, or she can best herself, maybe by a few milliseconds, few seconds. That would be great. So that's what we're looking for, because as I said, at Singapore she was 1 second slower. 1 second sounds like a little bit, but in the world of sports and swimming, 1 second is a lot.
And that's swimming coach Shamini Walsh-Dupie. Let's head to some cricket news now, as Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer Chris Darren has identified facilities, skill deficiencies and the lack of proper high-performance centres as some of the major challenges impacting West Indies cricket. Well, his comments at the conclusion of a 2-day emergency summit on cricket in Trinidad. The 2-day summit was geared at tackling West Indies cricket's performances, challenges and implementing structural reforms at all levels of the game. Well, some of the legends, Sir Clive Lloyd, Sir Vivian Richards, Brian Lara, Dr. Desmond Haynes and Shivnaren Chandapal, alongside current senior players and the head coach Darren Sammy, all took part in the two-day summit.
But we're talking about things like facilities at every level for the development of our cricketers, proper practice pitches across the region, the quality of our domestic tournament would have been highlighted. There's definitely a skills deficiency at various levels that are, really don't get highlighted until they reach international level, and then you see the glaring deficiencies vis-a-vis our international counterparts, which again is systemic because it's very difficult, as the batting coach pointed out today, it's very difficult to change habits when you're getting somebody who has made so many runs at regional level, but clearly have deficiencies when it comes to the international level. It's very hard to change them in just a couple of weeks, or especially during a series. So it's a systemic issue. So we have to try and address the issues that we're facing much earlier from a technical development perspective. There are issues surrounding strength and conditioning, which again points back to potentially facilities that are available to our youngsters and our emerging players, A teams, etc. So those would be some of the highlights which would have been pointed out.
And that's Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer Chris Darren. Meantime, West Indies legend Brian Lara has hailed the meeting as fruitful, and he's confident that the required changes will be made.
It was very productive the last couple of days. I think one of the takeaways that I will mention is the fact that it's been that case for years, where we are not on the same level playing field as other playing countries. And back in the days where skill was the prominent factor, we excel. We were the best team in the world, but the game has evolved a lot. And with technology and analytics, I think we now have to see a new way of finding ourselves back to being very competitive. I said not on a level playing field because a lot of the countries are far ahead in these sort of areas, and the skill factor of the game is still there, but not as prominent as it was in the past. It's a long road. It's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. It was not about the 27 runs. If it was 57 or 107, would we be feeling any better? I don't think so. It's the fact that we've got something to address, and for us to get back on top or to be a competitive nation in world cricket, we've got to address these situations and address them shortly, quickly, and hopefully we can reap the benefit in years to come.
And that's West Indies legend Brian Lara. Well, let's head across to Antigua, and we're joining Delvin Esprit, who is live on the line. Of course, Delvin Esprit is part of the national domino team that's taking part in the World Championships in Antigua and Barbuda. Delvin, good evening. We understand that the competition is underway. How are things shaping up so far?
Well, Gavin, good evening to you and good evening to many listeners of DBS Radio. Well, Gavin, the competition started last night for Pulorama, and it's going to continue during the week. But we can tell you the number of matches we will play today, and especially in the forehand today, there are a number of forehand matches played today. And Dominica was victorious in their first forehand match against Antigua, and when Antigua is the defending champion, and Dominica defeated Antigua in the forehand competition. Dominica got 70 points, and Antigua 69. So I'd like to show you how close that match was between Dominica and Antigua. So Dominica won their first forehand match this morning. Now Dominica is in action now in the ladies' free, and they're playing against USC, St. Kitts, and later on, just after, the men will be playing against USC and St. Kitts. So Gavin, action is full, and later in the evening, Dominica will be coming up against Guyana in the forehand competition because Guyana won the match also today. So a lot of action in the Dominica competition. As you know, is a world tournament, and I have 8 teams there in that World Championship in Antigua.
8 teams. So, Delvin, what are the prospects like for the men's team? I mean, you mentioned that there's some games later on. Just give me a sense as to how confident the guys are heading into this competition.
Well, Gavin, as you know that some of the guys there on Sunday, they have been playing Dominic for quite a while, and we are very confident that we can go there tonight and wrap up another 4-1 victory because we defeated the defending champions this morning, and hopefully that will give us that momentum to go against Guyana. As you know, Guyana is a very strong team also, so we're just hoping that they have the good dominoes tonight and really show that we can play dominoes, and that is what we came to Antigua for. All the odds and so on, we have to make sure that we perform. And the level of confidence in the camp in terms of the guys. A matter of fact, we're supposed to have 6 pairs, and we have only 7 pairs. And we have that. So we only have one substitute player, Gavin. But the forehand team is full of confidence that they can do pretty well against Guyana.
All right. Well, Delvin, all the best in the competition. And, of course, I will continue to touch bases with you. We'll hear from you tomorrow morning with the outcome of the events for tonight.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, Gavin. And we're hoping that we can get the support. We know we have the support, and all the Dominicans to support the guys and so on. We're trying our best.
All right, and that was Delvin Esprit, a member of the national domino team. World Championships underway in Antigua and Barbuda, where we can end with some football item. And Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC, well, they made it 3 straight titles as they won the DFA Premier League crown, beating title contenders Belfast Estate Maho Soccer Strikers in front of a massive crowd at the Almond Park last night in Dubla. Well, Maho entered the match needing a win to keep their title hopes alive, and they got the start that they needed with Addison Dennis firing Maho in front early in the first half. But last year's Golden Boot winner, Travis Joseph, had the answer for Dubla. He got 2 goals as Dubla came from behind to win the match 2-1. The win puts Dubla on an unassailable 42 points with 2 games left in the season. Let's quickly hear now from the Dubla captain, Brielle Thomas.
Well, it feels good. I mean, especially the season we had a rough season. I mean, yeah, we undefeated, but we didn't play as far as better. We didn't play better than last season, so I find we are still vulnerable, and we had plenty injuries, and it just showed that when we're missing men know to step up. So this season was very good.
Brielle, what was the advantage tonight for you all? Where do you think you guys were strong in order to edge out Maho?
Well, the man at the back of it, the man of the match, I think he played an important role. I mean, I wasn't on it tonight, and he just showed that he took the captain man and he just encouraging fellas and keep them going. And still plus, the edge tonight was the fans. I mean, it's very special tonight because guys, we flip it and then we win it on home ground. First time ever, so very good.
And that was the Dubla captain, Brielle Thomas. So 3 in a row for Dubla. And of course, Brielle Thomas was speaking with our very own Joseph Fadul last night at the Dubla playing field. Well, in some other results from the weekend, remember, the title has been decided, but there's still battles going on for the top 3. And the Roosevelt Scarlet Bombers, well, they moved into 3rd place as they got past Valvoline Way United 7-2. Of course, the win puts the Bombers on 28 points. And Southeast, they're also on 28 points in 4th place. Southeast, they beat Harlem. They defeated Harlem 3-0. With Darren James getting 2 goals and Javid George also scoring for Southeast. And at the bottom of the table, well, DSFC, basically they've been relegated. Of course, they failed to show up for their match against Petro Caribe Point Michel last night. And Petro Caribe Point Michel won that game 3-0 by forfeit. And of course, the win puts Point Michel firmly in 8th place with 14 points. And they're 4 points in front of East Central, who are on 10 points in 9th place, and DSFC will remain with 4 points in 10th place. 2 games remaining in the season. Mathematically, they can still get to 10 points, but their goal difference is so terrible. It's minus 63 or minus 66. I stand corrected. Minus 66. So it will mean that DSFC will need to win their 2 games by over 30 goals. I think I'll probably have an easier chance